Welcome back to the Rare Coins All World, fellow coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into a fascinating piece of American history, the 1972 Washington Quarter. At first glance, this coin might look like any other quarter from the 1970s, but trust me when I say there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned collector or a new enthusiast, the 1972 Washington Quarter could very well be the hidden gem you've been waiting for. Now, let's talk about the Washington Quarter itself. The Washington Quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the first President of the United States, George Washington. It quickly became one of the most iconic coins in American currency. Over the years, millions of these coins have been minted, but certain years, like 1972, are known to have some unique characteristics that make them especially valuable. The 1972 Washington Quarter stands out for a few important reasons. First, it's not just any ordinary quarter. While the design on the obverse side, the portrait of George Washington, has remained largely unchanged for decades, it's the condition of the coin, along with any minting errors, that can make this particular coin worth a fortune. So, what makes the 1972 Washington Quarter so rare and valuable? The main factor that makes this coin stand out is its potential for unique errors. Minting errors are one of the driving forces behind the rarity and value of a coin, and the 1972 Washington Quarter has a few notable errors that make it highly sought after. Let's take a closer look at some of these potential errors and how they can significantly increase the coin's worth. One of the most notable errors you might find on a 1972 Washington Quarter is the double die variety. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned, causing part of the design to be stamped more than once. With the 1972 Washington Quarter, this error is often seen in the lettering and the date. If you look carefully, you might notice that the numbers in the year 1972 appear doubled or blurry. This double die error makes the coin incredibly rare and highly valuable to collectors. The rarity of this error is what drives its price to astonishing amounts. Another error to look for is the repunched mint mark. The mint mark, which indicates where the coin was produced, can sometimes be repunched during the minting process. This occurs when the mint mark is struck more than once, leaving a faint, overlapping image next to the original mint mark. If you happen to find a 1972 Washington Quarter with a repunched mint mark, you've found something truly special. Coins with this type of error are rare and command premium prices in the coin market. Now, let's talk about condition. As with any coin, the condition of the 1972 Washington Quarter plays a huge role in determining its value. The higher the grade of the coin, meaning the better its condition, the more valuable it will be. Coins that are in pristine, uncirculated condition are always in high demand, and a 1972 Washington Quarter that has been well preserved could fetch an impressive price. Coins that have minimal wear, sharp details, and no significant damage are the ones that collectors are willing to pay top dollar for. If you have a 1972 Washington Quarter that's in excellent condition and shows no signs of wear, scratches, or discoloration, you could be looking at a coin that's worth far more than its face value. A coin like this could be worth tens of thousands of dollars, depending on its grade and the presence of any minting errors. So, what's the real value of the 1972 Washington Quarter? Well, if you've got one in pristine, uncirculated condition, or if it features a rare minting error like the double die or repunched mint mark, you could be holding onto a coin worth a staggering $73,200. Yes, that's right. A single 1972 Washington Quarter could be worth more than $73,000, making it one of the most valuable quarters you could own. Now, you might be wondering how you can tell if your 1972 Washington Quarter is worth this much. The first thing to do is to carefully examine your coin. Look for any signs of doubling on the date or lettering, as this could indicate a double die error. Check the mint mark as well. If you see a faint, overlapping mint mark, you might have a rare repunched mint mark error. And, of course, the condition of the coin is key. If it's in excellent shape, it's worth getting it professionally graded by an expert. Coins with these types of errors or in top-tier condition are always in demand, and they can fetch premium prices when sold through auctions or private sales. So, if you happen to find a 1972 Washington quarter with these unique characteristics, you could be sitting on a valuable piece of American history. In conclusion, the 1972 Washington quarter is more than just a simple coin. It's a piece of American heritage that has the potential to be worth a small fortune if you happen to find the right one. With its potential for minting errors like the double die and repunched mint mark, along with its rarity in top condition, this coin is a true collector's dream. If you happen to have a 1972 Washington quarter that's in excellent condition or has one of these rare errors, you could be looking at a coin worth an incredible $73,200. Today, we're diving into a coin that may seem like just another quarter from the early 70s at first glance, but trust me, there's a lot more to the 1971 Washington quarter than meets the eye. Whether you're an experienced collector or just starting out, this coin has some serious value potential that might surprise you. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency for decades. First introduced in 1932 to commemorate George Washington's 200th birthday, the coin has since become one of the most iconic and widely collected coins in the world. The 1971 Washington quarter is no exception, but its unique characteristics and potential for rare errors make it especially intriguing. At first, the 1971 Washington quarter seems like a standard issue coin. It features the familiar design of George Washington on the front, and an eagle on the reverse. However, when you begin to look closer, you start to notice some factors that could make this coin incredibly valuable to collectors. One of the most intriguing features of the 1971 Washington quarter is the potential for specific minting errors that could significantly increase its worth. Minting errors are mistakes made during the production process, and while they might seem like defects, they're highly sought after by collectors because of their rarity. These errors can turn an ordinary coin into a highly valuable piece of history. One of the most common and valuable errors found in the 1971 Washington quarter is the double die variety. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin becomes misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled or blurred. In the case of the 1971 Washington quarter, this error can often be spotted in the date or lettering on the coin. If you're holding a 1971 quarter and notice that the 1971 seems to be doubled, then you could have stumbled upon a rare treasure. The value of this error can shoot up significantly, as collectors are always on the lookout for these rare, doubled varieties, but that's not the only potential error that could make your 1971 Washington quarter worth a fortune. Another common mistake found on these coins is a repunched mint mark. Mint marks are small letters placed on coins to indicate where they were produced, for example, D for Denver or S for San Francisco. If the mint mark is struck more than once, it creates a blurry, overlapping mark that is easy to spot. If you find a 1971 Washington quarter with a repunched mint mark, you found a rare and highly valuable error that could make your coin worth much more than its face value. Now, let's talk about the condition of the coin. As with any collectible, the condition plays a huge role in its value. A well-preserved coin, often referred to as an uncirculated coin, is far more valuable than one that has been worn down over time. If you come across a 1971 Washington quarter that still retains its original luster, with sharp details and no visible wear, you could be looking at a coin that's worth a small fortune. Coins that are graded as MS-65 or higher are considered to be in excellent condition and are the most sought after by collectors. So, what does all this mean for the 1971 Washington quarter's value? Well, in general, the coin in average condition is worth only a few dollars, around the price of a standard quarter. But when you factor in errors like the double die or repunched mint mark, along with the coin's condition, the value skyrockets. If you're lucky enough to find a 1971 Washington quarter with these errors and in exceptional condition, you could be holding onto a coin worth a staggering $74,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A single 1971 Washington quarter could be worth up to $74,000, depending on its rarity, the presence of errors, and its overall condition. Imagine that, a quarter that you might find tucked away in your pocket change could be worth more than most people's cars. That's the thrill of coin collecting. If you happen to have a 1971 Washington quarter, take a good look at it. Examine the date and the mint mark for any signs of doubling or repunching. Check for any signs of wear and tear, and if your coin looks like it has just been minted, it could be worth more than you ever expected. To get an accurate idea of the coin's value, it's always a good idea to get it professionally graded by an expert. A grading service will give your coin a rating based on its condition, which will help determine its true value in the market. But even if you don't have a 1971 Washington quarter with a minting error or in perfect condition, it's still a coin worth holding onto. As time goes on, coins like the 1971 Washington quarter become harder to find, and their value can increase as collectors continue to seek them out. In conclusion, the 1971 Washington quarter is far more than just a simple piece of change. It's a valuable collectible with the potential for rare minting errors that can drive its price up to incredible amounts. Whether it's the double die error, the repunched mint mark, or simply an uncirculated coin in excellent condition, the 1971 Washington quarter is a prime example of how a seemingly ordinary coin can be transformed into a high-priced treasure. If you happen to own a 1971 Washington quarter, make sure to carefully examine it. Look for those rare errors and check its condition, because you could be holding onto a coin worth a staggering $74,000. Today, we have an exciting video that's sure to spark the curiosity of collectors everywhere. If you're a fan of rare and valuable coins, then this one is for you. We're talking about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from 1994. It might seem like a coin from a modern era, but don't let its age fool you. This quarter is far from ordinary, and it has a surprising amount of value waiting to be uncovered. At first glance, the 1994 Washington quarter might seem like just another coin you'd find in your pocket change. After all, it's from a relatively recent year, not something you'd expect to be worth a lot of money. But as any seasoned coin collector will tell you, it's not always about age. Sometimes, it's about the rarity of a coin and the special errors that can make it worth a small fortune. So, what makes the 1994 Washington quarter so intriguing? Well, let's start by looking at the basic details. The coin still features the classic design that's been a hallmark of the Washington quarter series for decades. On the obverse, you'll find the portrait of George Washington, and on the reverse, there's the majestic eagle, symbolizing strength and freedom. But while these are beautiful and timeless designs, it's the less obvious features of this coin that make it worth paying attention to. First, let's talk about minting errors. Minting errors are the bread and butter of coin collectors, and they can drastically increase the value of a coin. The 1994 Washington quarter is no exception. While many coins are produced with little to no issues, some experience flaws during the minting process, which makes them rare and valuable. With the 1994 Washington quarter, there are a few key errors that could make your coin stand out from the crowd and earn you a substantial return on your investment. One of the most sought-after errors in the 1994 Washington quarter is the double die variety. This occurs when the die used to stamp the coin is misaligned, causing the design to appear doubled or blurred. If you look closely at the date, lettering, or even Washington's portrait, you might see a slight doubling effect. This happens when the die strikes the coin twice in slightly different positions, leaving behind a clear impression of the original design. When this error occurs, it creates a coin that's incredibly rare, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for it. Another error you might come across is a repunched mint mark. This happens when the mint mark, the small letter indicating where the coin was struck, is punched into the die more than once, creating a slightly blurry or overlapping effect. For example, if your 1994 Washington quarter has a D mint mark, look closely for any signs that it might have been struck multiple times. Repunched mint marks are highly sought after because they represent a flaw in the minting process, making them a rare find, but minting errors aren't the only factor that can increase the value of the 1994 Washington quarter. The overall condition of the coin also plays a major role in its worth. As with any collectible, the better the condition, the higher the value. If you find a 1994 Washington quarter that has been well preserved and remains in near perfect condition, you could be holding a coin that's worth significantly more than its face value. Coins that have been kept in pristine condition with minimal wear and tear are much more desirable to collectors, and they often fetch a premium price at auctions or private sales. Now, let's talk about how much a 1994 Washington quarter can actually be worth. You might be thinking, it's just a quarter from the 90s, how much could it really be worth? Well, let me tell you, in certain conditions and with the right errors, it's worth a lot more than you'd expect. A regular 1994 Washington quarter in average condition might only be worth its face value, a quarter. But if you find one with a double die error, a repunched mint mark, or in pristine condition, the value could shoot up. In fact, some of these coins have been sold for prices as high as $68,000, yes, you heard that right. A 1994 Washington quarter could be worth as much as $68,000, depending on its rarity and condition. This is why it's so important to examine every coin you come across. You never know when you might find a hidden gem. So, if you're lucky enough to come across a 1994 Washington quarter with any of these rare errors or in exceptional condition, you could be looking at a coin that's worth a small fortune. Of course, not every 1994 Washington quarter is going to be worth $68,000. The price depends on the coin's specific characteristics, like the presence of errors, its condition, and the demand from collectors. But the fact remains, the 1994 Washington quarter has the potential to be a highly valuable coin, especially for collectors who specialize in minting errors and rare varieties. So, what should you do if you think you might have a valuable 1994 Washington quarter on your hands? First, carefully inspect the coin for any signs of doubling or a repunched mint mark. If you spot these errors, you might want to take the coin to a professional coin grader for a proper evaluation. A grading service will assign the coin a grade based on its condition, which will help determine its market value. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin is likely to be. In conclusion, while the 1994 Washington quarter might seem like just another ordinary coin from the 1990s, it has the potential to be far more valuable than you could imagine. Whether it's due to a rare minting error, its overall condition, or a combination of both, this coin could be worth a fortune. If you happen to find a 1994 Washington quarter with one of these rare features, you might just be holding onto a coin worth $68,000. So, be sure to check your spare change and coin collection. You might have a rare treasure waiting for you. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for more coin collecting tips and insights. Happy collecting, and good luck finding your next big find.